Welcome to the Green Building Show, where we investigate green design and building trends throughout Australia.
This week we speak with Angela Rothwell. She's the owner of a recently completed project home by GJ Gardner on Sydney's north. She's going to explain how she and her family found the process and what limitations she had on site. And later we speak to an architect behind an extraordinary lightweight home in Victoria, which caters to the dynamics of a growing family. Well, I'm here today with Angela Rothwell. She's the owner of a GJ Gardner home in Narrabeen on the Northern Beaches in Sydney. Thanks for being with us, Angela.
No worries.
So, can you tell us how you came about choosing this home? And is this one of the original designs, or is this a custom build?
Yeah, well, we moved over here probably about 4 years ago, and we built previously with a project builder. And so we just had to find the right spot. So we found the right spot, knocked a house down, and then it was a matter of, well, what do we do now? And we looked at a couple of builders, but GJ were the most flexible for us. So, something small, but the garage, I didn't want a pole between my two car spots. Mm-hmm. So somebody else refused to move the pole, whereas GJ Gardner just never had a pole. So they were really flexible. It's one of their standard homes. There was two of them, and I couldn't decide which one. So I wanted the top of one and the bottom of the other, and then we just flipped it around. So it made it work better for us on the site.
So they actually were able to custom one and to join the two houses together and
they're pretty much the same outside. They just drew the top to look like the top of the other one. Right. So in amongst its framework. So. Okay.
And did you have did you already own your site?
Yeah, we bought our site prior to going with GJ.
Okay, so was there any issues with the site and its the fit for your ideal design? Was there any complications when it came to fitting it on the site?
Yeah, our spot's very narrow, so therefore we struggled even finding any builder at all. And you can go your architect and whatnot, but then you're just looking at money. But see, with GJ, they already had narrow plots, narrow houses. So you just had to find the right one. So it was just about this style of house. The Jindalee came in 3 or 4 different sizes, so you can get it bigger or smaller. So we just picked, I think, the middle of the range, and then just worked out.
Okay, fantastic.
To fit.
Great. And I guess why did you decide to go with a pre-designed house rather than build one with a building designer?
Well, you know what you're going to get. So with architects, you can go, well, I don't know what that looks like, and I'm a visual person, I need to see it. Yep. So it's easy for me to go, okay, here it is. They already had houses already done that you can look at. And then because they're a franchise, you can go and have a look at one of the others that somebody else built. So it's exactly the same home. So that way you get to know what they build like. And then you get to also see like the plans are already there, so you can like chop and change. Because if you're new to building, you don't really know what you want until you see it sometimes, or that's with me. So sometimes I'd go, oh, I didn't know that was even an option. So whereas if you're an architect, I mean, he's got the ideas, but then you don't know if that's going to work for you. And
there's only so much you can tell from drawings.
That's exactly right. It's really hard to click. You look at a room and you go, oh, that looks massive. And then it's built and you go, oh my goodness, it's tiny, or it's twice as big as you thought, or just in space-wise, you're forever plotting out what 3x3 looks like. You know what I mean? To work out, is that going to be big enough space or...
Okay, great. And did you and what would you have done differently? Or what was the biggest challenge for you with this whole process? Was it choosing?
Ours was really easy. So we built previously, so they just had their rules and you do this as it goes. With GJ, we did comply and develop, so that took like a week.
What is that?
That's when you go with the rules of the street or the area. So there was certain rules. We couldn't have our balcony too big, so we had to make our balcony smaller. Right. But that's not a problem. You just make your wardrobe bigger. You know what I mean? So you just got to take a deep breath if there's a problem, and then come up with a solution. And between, they've got people down there that can help you, and then us, and then other people you talk to, someone comes up with a plan. So for example, our bathroom was already designed and it looked great on the plan. Then we walked in and we went, hang on, Ross picked it out for us, the site manager. He said, look, I don't think it's going to work. And I went, no, let's change it. And the three of us stood there with the plumber working out where we were going to change everything, and we did that on the spot. You know what I mean? So you can just, if it's flexible, you just do it. Whereas previously in my old build, it was just done, that was it, and there was no choice, no options. You just got what it was, and then you walked in and you went, you know. So it was really good. Like Ross would bring us up and go, come over to the site, I want you to, where would you like your tap mixers to go? My last build, they put the tap mixers wherever they wanted them to go.
Right, so you did get a good sense of involvement.
Yeah. So you get to choose where you want to turn your shower switch on to have hot water. Like, it never occurred to me before, you know, that sort of stuff. You get to choose. So it was really good and easy. Where do you want your little toilet roll holders to go? Like, I just thought they automatically got stuck on the wall. No. You get to choose where you want them. So little things like that.
Right. So how often were you on site throughout the build?
Usually they have intervals of, okay, the slab's down, come and check it. Then the frame's up, come and check it. And there's sets like that. And then if we had that bathroom, but it wasn't even that much of a problem. You know what I mean? You just come in and then the plumber just turned around and said, well, why don't you turn around your vanity, turn it around the other way? And I went, okay, no worries. You know what I mean? So little things like that, it's just easy and done for. So.
All right, fantastic. And I guess if you could do anything different, what do you think that would be?
I don't know, it's pretty good. It's just, actually, I don't know. Little things like, the paint, I'd probably change the colour. Because I've gone white on white, which looks great, but then you go, well, it doesn't match my shutters I put in, you know what I mean? So little things like that, but that's
all
just...
Right. Cool. All right, final question, Angela. Thank you so much for your time. So I guess if someone else is in similar shoes to you were before you build this house, they're working out what they're going to build, what they can fit on their site, who they're going to go with, and they're tossing up between going with an architect and a builder to design a custom home, so they're going from drawings, or going with a project builder like GJ Gardner. What would you say to them? What advice would you give to them?
I'd go back with them easy. Hands down, it was a really, really easy build for us. Took 6 months. They knocked it down in July. It was done and dusted in February, and we moved in March. So it was really, really easy. And then like Amanda everyone you speak to, first you might meet Steve, and he'll go through the plans and what you get to choose. You meet Amanda at the front desk, and she gives you cups of coffee all the time. And then you meet the office girls, and they're all picking your colours and your bathroom things, and you've got Horse who helps you out. So it was really, really good the whole way through. There's already somebody there that can help you and back you up, rather than just being one person or the other. So, and the guys that came to do it, like you got your, we met the tilers, you know what I mean, all that sort of stuff. So they're all very nice.
So you got to meet all the contractors, and have relationships with the whole, and
so you'd come in and they chatted to us like just to double check that the tiler was on board with what I picked out, because I changed something. You know what I mean? So just to double check everything's all right. So.
All right, fantastic. Okay, so project build versus a custom build, you would go project build hands down?
Well, GJ Gardner, even though they're a project build, they're flexible enough that they aren't almost like your own build anyway. So I found the best of both worlds with them compared to my previous build where it was just, this was it, take it or leave it. So we got a lot more flexibility. So I'd go with them.
Great. Angela Rothwell, thank you for your time.
No worries. Thanks very much.
Vidal, V-I-D-A-L.
Vidal?
Vidal, V-I-D-A-L.
Vidal. Cool name. And your position?
A director at Bauer Architecture. One of 3 directors.
Are you in Melbourne?
In Melbourne? In Paran in Melbourne.
Great. I'm here today with Jade Fidel. He's the director of Bauer Architecture in Melbourne. Thanks for being with us, Jade.
Welcome, thank you.
Great, so we're talking today about the Traralgon House, which is a lightweight construction. Tell us, what was the brief from the client, Jade?
The brief for this house was pretty clear. These clients knew exactly what they wanted from the start. It's not always the case with clients, but these guys had a very clear idea of how they worked as a family and how they wanted their family home to work. And that was essentially distinct areas for the parents and the kids. They had two sons, and a shared communal space in between. So a lot of the design of the house was around a U-shaped courtyard arrangement with parents up one end, kids at the other. But the most important space in the house was the central north-facing living areas, where the family sort of crossed over, and it was an opportunity for everyone to come together.
Okay, perfect. And you've mentioned in the description I'm reading here that it combines both intimacy and privacy features in the house. Could you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yes, I think a lot of that relates to the sizes of spaces. Often we find that successful projects have a balance of larger spaces, in this case central living spaces. So I think a 4 metre high ceiling with a large section of glazing that's got a very larger open feel, and that's balanced with the more modest entry spaces and also bedroom spaces that balance out those two volumes. So I think part of that experience of the house is the journey through the house, and often that's made stronger by contrasting those two.
Okay, thanks, Jade. And what about any challenge? I mean, it looks like a pretty standard site from the pictures that I'm seeing. Was there any challenges with the build?
Not really. I think the process went really smoothly. It was a clean site at the start with a great view. So often, with projects in the inner city that we often do, there's a lot more constraints on the site in terms of size and privacy. But the site was blessed with those two things of having a good size, a clean slate, and a great view. So that really paved the way for the design, and the process went quite smoothly from there.
And what about the sustainable credentials of the house? Was sustainability features and passive solar design, did that play a big factor in the design?
Yes, probably one of the major parts, and with passive features, as I think a lot of people are becoming aware of, it's crucial to implement and discuss that very early in the process, so it becomes a integral part of the design rather than trying to add something on later. So the initial planning of the house with the central north-facing living space, you can see in some of the images, there's a glazed north wall with a high band of louvers that runs across the top, and the kitchen is to the south of that space, and within the kitchen there are some small ventilation openings as well, so you get the passive cross ventilation throughout that whole space. In addition, there were careful consideration of shading elements as well throughout all the spaces, particularly the northwest and the east facing.
Yep, perfect. All right, thanks, Jed. And obviously, it's a lightweight construction. I guess was the choice to go with lightweight materials? Did that play into the sustainability features of the house, or the sustainability needs of the house?
Yeah, I think it did. I think we used a lightweight construction which was able to work with the client's budget. We used the James Hardie linear board throughout all the cladding on the house, and we also used a product called foil board to add to insulation within the house as well.
Right, great. And what, in your opinion, is your favourite part or the most unique part of the house?
To me, there's a couple. I think the clients really wanted to inject a bit of colour into the house, but also had a taste for quite modern and minimal design. So there's a big green block in the kitchen that the clients were heavily involved in running with, and I think that came through really well in the end. The central living space as well. I mean, I really think that's been quite successful in terms of how this family wanted their house to work, and the natural light that comes into the spaces.
Jade Fidel, thank you for your time.
Cheers, thank you.